Hello everybody, I'm Nora Burrows. This is going to be a quick intro today because we have some workers at the house and they're kind of going back and forth. So let's get right to it. We're going to continue on with our improv blocks today. This is the last week. So this was the improv block exchange I was doing with my quilt guild. We have to make 5 blocks today. The theme is half square triangles. The first step is make a half square triangle and then you cut off a corner. So let's go ahead and do that. Also, there are 2 previous videos on other improv block weeks. One is called Wonky Shapes Improv Blocks, and the other is called A Square and a Square and a Square and a Square and a Square. So if you want to take a look at those, you can do a search. These 5 blocks need to be 6.5 by 8.5 inches. I already have one half square triangle here, so we'll use that for one block. Let's use these 2 triangles. We'll put these 2 triangles together for a second block. How about we use these 2 fabrics for another half square triangle. So I already talked about this one, but let's use this same tulle fabric, but we'll do kind of a different peachy with it. So that's 1, 2, 3. This is already cut into a triangle here. So let's make a half square triangle with this white fabric. Notice I'm doing all different size pieces here. Let's see here. So the next step, this one is already a half square triangle. The next step after you make your half square triangle is to make a cut and add a piece of fabric. So I'm gonna add this orange piece onto here. So this is one, this is a second block, a third block, fourth, and our fifth. Let me sew those up. So as you remember, the next step is to cut a piece off. I'll probably cut this side off here and to add another piece. So I'm going to cut this off, and then I'll add this piece kind of here like this. For this one, it already has a piece kind of out of it, so I'll just make a straight line and cut there and add this kind of apricot color, which I've used this in some of the other improv blocks that we've done together. Here's the other similar one to that one, and again, I'll use kind of this lavender fabric, add it here. Now this one, it's a little bit larger. It's the largest of the ones. It already had this gray piece sewn onto the white. So I'm gonna leave that there and kind of cut like this, and then I'll add this piece there. This is the one that we're one step ahead because we already had that half square triangle. I added that orange, and then I think I'm gonna add this stripe. So the next step after adding a piece to your half square triangle is to add a strip to the side, is what the instructions are. So I'm going to add this strip to the side of this piece. I added this piece up here, so let's make this a nice straight line. We'll just line it up with the edge of this black and white stripe piece here and make our cut. And then I'll save this for another block. All right, so this one is getting pretty big, but there's kind of a lot happening down here and not a lot up here. Let's see, so we need it to be 8.5 by 6.5. I think I want to add a strip right here of something. Let me find something. How about this yellow? I'll add this yellow piece right here. Now let's square this block up. And I'm just going to go along the initial square lines here. And following the directions saying add a piece to the side. How about this black piece here? And as I mentioned, we're having some work done, so if you can hear that buzzing and banging and stuff, that's what's going on there. I had already made this a while back, so what I'm thinking is maybe I'll just attach that onto the side there. Then I have this piece, and I'm kind of trying to make this one and the other similar one different so that they're not just two of the same block. And I have more of this kind of yellowish green that I used on that other piece, and I'll use it here. And then this is the one we're a step ahead. So we had our half square triangle, we cut a piece off, we added a piece, and then added a strip. So after that, the instructions just say kind of repeat and do it again until your block is big enough. But what I take that as meaning is kind of at this point, do whatever you want. And I actually created the instructions for this. I'm leading this block exchange, so I'm confident that doing whatever I want is a-okay. Let's see. So I do have kind of this big triangle, and I think I'll put that there. This strip here is now very, very thin because I actually sewed it on wrong, and so I had to cut it off and sew it on again. Anyway, so let's see. It's going to get very thin after I put another piece on, but I'm thinking about putting this on, and it will just be a teeny tiny sliver of that yellowy green, which I think will be really actually pretty cool. So we'll put those together. I'm really liking this block quite a bit. Let's make a cut here. And this fabric is the same as this fabric. This is a Kaffe Fassett fabric. So let's just put it right on the side here. Now I have this piece. I think I want to make this black a little bit thinner and wonkier, and then I had created this out of, you can say this is the cut off part of one of the half square triangles and another one. So I just kind of sewn these pieces together. And I want to attach this here somehow, but let's figure out this black. How about something like this? I'll make that cut and then sew these pieces right sides together. I have this long strip from a different project. I think it would look cool kind of like that. And then I'll use this piece for something else. I think this piece is now big enough that I can just trim it into the 6.5 by 8.5. So let's go ahead and do that. I've lined up this straight edge here with the line on the mat. And now I'll make my cut down this side so that it's a right angle. And I'm going to go 8.5 inches up. I'll flip it around. And go 6.5 inches over. And there's the first finished block. I like this one, and this already had the seam kind of down the middle of that piece there when I got it, but I actually like it. I think it adds a little bit of extra interest, and I love that really super thin stripe right there. We have this here. Let's start by just making maybe a clean cut down here. So I do have more of this strip that I could add there. We can add a strip here and then another strip of this green, kind of like that. If we cut this kind of on the diagonal a little bit, like that. And we'll put that right on there. This is proving to be an interesting piece. I really love this triangle right there. Let's add on this yellow right there. And we can add more of this orange right there. I just made this cut right here, and I think I'm gonna sew these two black strips together and then attach it to the body here. I would like to add some black to this, so let's put this right here. I have a lot of this fabric, this one, so let's just add a nice big piece onto that side, and then that may be big enough to square up once this is attached. If we add more of this fabric that I have here onto the bottom, it may end up being big enough. So this is a 6-inch wide ruler and it needs to be 6.5. It'll be close, but I might be able to squeeze 6.5 wide out of that. Let's try it. This piece is really kind of getting all over the place. So let's square this off. I want to get as much of this orange little bit in the bottom as I can. So that's really going to take quite a bit off of the yellow up here. All right. I think we need to add something over here. Maybe even this yellow. Yeah, that could be good. We'll try it. Well, I don't know. Let me think. I think this piece will be more interesting. It has some of that teal that's back in this fabric over here. We'll do this one. I think I might need a little bit more on this to get it the correct size, but let's take a look. Let's make a cut here, and then we'll go over 6.5. And then we'll square it off, and we'll see how big it is. All right, so 8.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5 would get me to here. So let's add a piece in the corner. We can just add another, we can just have the exact piece that we just took off up there, and then we can really square it off and be done. And this one is now done. Can we even find our original square triangle in here? I think it was here, right? This was our initial half square triangle, and since then we've trimmed it down. So it's unrecognizable. This is probably my favorite piece. These 3 squares that were sewn together, now it's just the dark blue popping out. That's a good one. Let's keep going. We need something right here. I have this piece that's already sewn together. These are actually linen squares, and this is a flannel. So you can mix and match any types of fabric in your improv quilting that you want, but I think that will look good, so we'll add it right there. All right, let's see what we can do with this here at this point. I have a strip of this, and I could do that. I actually like that. Let's do that. And maybe even one right on the other side. Let's see how that would look. So if I had one here, and then let's go right here. I do have a white strip. Maybe that would be better. Maybe the white is better, actually. No, I think that the yellow is better. I don't have enough I don't have any more of this yellow for the other side. I have this other kind of greener one, but I don't like that. Let's just put this on first, and then we'll figure it out. I have this big piece here, and I think what I'm going to do is cut it right down the middle and put half of it on one side and half of it on the other side, and then square it up. This one is finished. I ended up not adding another piece of this onto the other side because I didn't need it. It was big enough just like this. And usually these thin pieces, I kind of like to secure them in another, larger piece of fabric, but I think this will be fine, and it's done, so that's great. Then I have this piece here. This is exactly 6.5 wide. So now I want to see if I can get it, how long I can get it. I need it 8.5. So let me put it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5 will be here. So I need another piece on this side. I'm going to use the same fabric as I did over here. I don't know if I have enough of this to get, no, I'll have to use another bigger piece. But I'll put another bigger piece over there, and then this one will be done. And this block is finished. Let's see if we can see the initial half square triangle. I think it's this. This piece right here was the half square triangle. It's gone now. This is the last one. I've decided I don't love this piece at the bottom, but I don't mind kind of this darker bit of it. So I'm going to cut it just like this, cut off the light parts. And then I'd like to add this hot pink, maybe. Do the hot pink like, or maybe one of these teals would be better. Like that. I think that's good. We'll start with that and then see where we go. Maybe add actually one here as well. I think it's hard to see against the teal matte, but I think that will be a nice addition. Or maybe down here like that. I don't know. I'm losing it on this piece a little bit, but I think that's okay. Let's do this and then cross our fingers that everything turns out okay. I added these strips on, and I think I'll add another one here. This one. Here's our finished piece. I had put this strip on like I said I would, and then in addition I added this piece on here and then this piece up there. So this one is very similar to the other one. Let's look at the other one next to it. These two go really nicely together. I mean, they could just be right out of the same, you know, the same kind of quilt there. Pretty funky looking. Let's take a look at the blocks one more time. This was the first one that we did, and you could applicate something right on top of this empty white space, like a circle or some kind of shape or whatever you wanted. Here's the one with the teeny tiny orange triangles. And there's a lot happening here. There's probably too much happening here, but that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna see what happens when all these pieces come together, though most of these, if not all of them, I won't have since I am exchanging them with other guild members. But I have found in the last couple exchanges that I have ended up with some of my own blocks back. So we'll talk about that when we put all of these blocks together, when we do the whole block exchange and put them into the layout. Here's the other one. This is almost like an hourglass here. It's a funky hourglass up in that corner there. And then this is the last one, which is also kind of too much going on for my taste, but I do like this V coming together. It's almost like a half log cabin V that comes together here, which is really cool. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss us putting together all of the blocks, so you'll be able to see the other guild members' blocks the next time that we work on this project and we start putting the pieces together, and I'm going to alter a bunch of those blocks as well. So that will be a lot of fun. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss that. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.